in Oakland, California on a rainy day in the Bay Area for an AFC battle between the streaking Houston Texans and a team that is struggling through another difficult season, the 3-11 Oakland Raiders. And hello, everyone. Happy holidays to all of you. Bill Macatee along with Steve Beuerlein. And Steve, all of a sudden, one of the most exciting teams in the National Football League is the Houston Texans, trying to win their 5th in a row.
And there's a lot of reason for that, Bill. This is a team playing with a lot of confidence right now. And everybody usually talks about their offense, but really the last 4 weeks, the story's been as much as anything on defense. They're only allowing about 14 points a game. They're turning the ball over. They're playing aggressive, confident. They look like a football team that can play with anybody right now.
But that offense has a chance to be something special, and it starts with number 80, Andre Johnson, coming off a career game last week.
Well, what can you say about this guy? Last week, 11 catches, 207 yards, and a touchdown. He is the total package on offense. As a wide receiver, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he scares the heck out of defensive players. And one of the things that makes him so special is the way he attacks the football with his hands. But today, what a great challenge he's got. Boy, it's going to be a matchup that I'm looking forward to watching against who I think is the very best cover corner in the NFL, Nnamdi Asomugha for the Raiders. It's going to be a tremendous matchup all day long watching these two Warriors go at it.
A heavyweight battle between two of the best in the National Football League. We're just about set for the opening kickoff. Today's game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Well, it's a misty kind of day. Temperature is 50, but it feels a bit colder than that. Rain has let up for the moment. This is only the 4th meeting between the Raiders and the Texans, and Houston has won all 3 times they've played, including 24-17 last year here in Oakland. Chris Brown kicking to Justin Miller. Miller from the 7-yard line. Dangerous. And tripped up at about the 37-yard line. Well, JaMarcus Russell has had an up-and-down first year as the starter. Tom Cable told us they want to get him in a rhythm early. Up front for Oakland, the Raiders would like to get better play from their offensive tackles. Henderson again starts on the left side. And the Raiders are without Ronald Curry and Ashley Lilly today. They'll start Higgins and Schillens, and we expect to see a lot of Darren McFadden.
Who'd you say those receivers were for the Raiders?
Well, they have 2 of them of the 4, the wideout position, who've never caught a pass in the National Football League. The Raiders would like to run the football, and they do so on first down. Out to the 40-yard line goes Justin Fargas, and during the 4-game winning streak, the Texans have given up just 5 touchdowns. Mario Williams, he's been tremendous, going to his first Pro Bowl. D'Amico Ryans is one of the outstanding young linebackers in the league. Greenwood starts today for a DB, and in the secondary, the Texans have been using more man coverage. Robinson, of course, can be a lockdown corner, and he'll try to force JaMarcus Russell into making some mistakes today. 2nd and 6. Russell will throw. Flush from the pocket. Guns it, and that's caught by his tight end, Zach Miller, for a first down into Houston territory.
Tremendous play by JaMarcus Russell here. And here you get to see one of the things that makes him so unique. He's big. He's 265+ pounds, no doubt about it. But he can move well enough to get outside of the pocket, buy some time, extend plays. But then look how he just kind of flicks that ball. That ball traveled in the air, Bill, a good 30 yards, 35 yards with just a little flick of his wrist right on the money. He can make all the throws.
That was good for 21 yards. 1st and 10 from the 39. Fargas, left side, tripped up, picks up 1. Nick Ferguson, the strong safety, who came over in the offseason from Denver, made the stop.
Well, Bill, one of the things, talking to Gary Kubiak, head coach for the Houston Texans, he said that this is a game that's kind of scary for him because the Raiders are a team that runs the ball very well. They're committed to it. And one of the big problems Houston has had this year, although better the last few weeks, has been stopping the run.
I formation, 2nd and 9. Opening possession for the Raiders. They toss back to Fargas. And he picks up another yard. That'll bring up 3rd and long for Oakland.
Well, Bill, you were mentioning the wide receivers. Let's just talk about exactly how dramatic this is. You look at the average receiving yards per game. None of these guys over 25 yards. And the top guy Javon Walker, he's not even playing anymore. He's been out for most of the season. These are guys that a lot of people have never even heard of, and it puts a lot of pressure on a young quarterback like JaMarcus Russell to be expected to be successful with that kind of weapon.
Darren McFadden has checked in the game, and they run the screen to him. He has some open field, dives forward for a first down.
We got the distinct feeling when talking with the Raiders yesterday that Darren McFadden is going to be getting the ball and be a big part of this football game in a lot of different ways. They're on a screen passer coming across the middle. But the big criticism of Tom Cable lately offensively is that Darren McFadden has not gotten into the ball game until the game is pretty much out of hand already. Today, you can see already trying to get the ball to him early.
Haven't scored a touchdown their first possession since December of last year. They didn't get the ball to McFadden last week until 4 minutes into the second quarter. Fargas still on his feet. Great individual effort getting down to the 21-yard line. He has been a tough, physical runner for the Raiders.
Despite all the things that have been going on with the Raiders, the one thing they've been able to do consistently is run the football. They get physical. They go right at you. They do not throw the ball well at all, although last week there was some life in the passing game, and JaMarcus Russell has shown signs and flashes. It's going to come down to Justin Fargas and Darren McFadden running the ball well today for this team to win.
This has been an impressive opening drive so far for Oakland. Again, they keep it on the ground, no gain. Extra effort, maybe a yard for Fargas. Well, for whatever reason, JaMarcus Russell has been a slow starter. He struggled early against New England last week. Then he settled down and threw for almost 250 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, you mentioned, Bill, the slow start. That's been a concern and an issue with Coach Tom Cable. He's told us that is something he's really trying to get JaMarcus Russell to focus on, is understanding the preparation during the course of the week. Get yourself ready to come out and play from the very first snap. It's something that's still a kind of a work in progress.
Raiders are last in third down conversions. Third and a long one to the end zone. Touchdown, Chaz Schillens. And how about that drive for the Oakland Raiders?
I'll tell you what, Bill, that is the third offensive touchdown in the first half all year by the Oakland Raiders. And right there, it does not get any easier than that. Chaz Schillens just ran a corner route. Nobody anywhere near him. Great execution on this first drive. Really a good, solid opening drive for the Raiders all the way through, running the ball and throwing the ball.
The rookie, 7th-round draft pick out of San Diego State, finds the end zone. And now Janikowski on to try the extra point, and that's good. With 10:34 left in the first, the Oakland Raiders score on their opening possession, the first NFL touchdown reception for Chaz Schillens. We talked about JaMarcus Russell being a slow starter. He wasn't there. 3 of 3 for 51 yards and a touchdown pass. 8-play drive, 64 yards. Took just about 4.5 minutes. And now the Texans will have their opening possession. Davis from the 4. And brought down hard at the 28-yard line. Matt Schaub will go to work when we return to Oakland in a moment. Misty day here in Oakland. Opening possession for the 7-7 Houston Texans. Raiders need to win their last 2 games to avoid losing 12 or more games for the 4th straight year. Play action. Schaub has his tight end Daniels. Nice pickup on first down near midfield. Matt Schaub in his 2nd year as the Texans starting quarterback. And since he's come back from the injury, over the last 2 games, he's thrown for almost 700 yards. The offensive line has evolved over the last 2 seasons. A terrific unit. Chester Pitts making his 111th consecutive start. Talented in the skill positions. Andre Johnson coming off his most productive game. And the Raiders have to figure out a way to stop the rookie, Steve Slayton. And again, play action under pressure, able to get rid of it. Daniels, open field for the tight end Owen Daniels, and he's down inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Hiram Eugene finally brought him down.
Two big plays to the tight end, Owen Daniels, to start the game. You're going to see right here he is, right here at the end of the line. The play action is going to go to the right side. Watch the whole Raider team come this way. Nobody on the backside of the field down there. Owen Daniels times it up perfectly. Matt Schaub, great execution. You got blockers out front. Two huge plays to the tight end to start the game off of good hard run action. Raiders have been run at so effectively this year. They're focused on that. Two big plays.
Two teams that told us they wanted to try to run the football today. They've looked like Air Coryell out there. On the reverse, Walter brought down inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal. Again, Hiram Eugene made the stop.
Well, you see right here the creativity of Gary Kubiak and offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan, son of Denver Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan, coming out thinking everybody thinks they're going to run the ball right. We thought they were going to run it right down their throat. 3 good solid play actions to start the game, and they're knocking on the door already.
Slayton is the deep back. 1st and goal from the 3. Play action again. Throws it away. Daniels was well covered.
And that was a smart play by Matt Schaub. Realizing 1st down there at the 3-yard line. No reason to try and force things when you're in that kind of a situation. If it's not clean, it's not good. The tight ends, he was trying to get it to Owen Daniels or Joel Dreesen, the 2 big tight ends, but neither one of them were open. Get rid of that football. Live to see another down.
The Texans have not been good this year in the red zone. 2nd and goal. Slayton trying to fight to the goal line, and he'll be stopped just short.
Well, Bill, you mentioned the struggling red zone offense. Very surprising for an offense as explosive as the Houston Texans. Not very good, but right here you get to see a good example. I think last week was a huge game for the Houston Texans, how they came out, got physical with the Tennessee Titans in their own playing their own style of football. The offensive line, you see him right there, pushing the pile, getting physical, working hard for extra yards.
3rd and goal from the 1. Give it to the up man. That's the fullback, Vontae Leach.
Yeah,
and there's the signal, touchdown.
It looked like he fell across the line. It was a good solid hit on Leach right there before he got across the line of scrimmage, but that ball up high, as he falls, you can see he definitely, that ball will cross the goal line. Touchdown for the Houston Texans.
And he has not been a factor in the running game, so that was a nice call on 3rd and goal from the 1. First touchdown of the year for Vontae Leach.
And a good answer by the Houston Texans. This team is learning how to win. They keep their poise, they keep their cool. They just go about doing their job.
2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. We are tied at 7 with 7:59 left in the 1st, and the Texans answer. 6 plays, 71 yards on the scoring drive from Houston. Took just over 2.5 minutes. Nnamdi Asamoah is getting his leg worked on there on the Oakland bench. Miller's the deep man. It's going to be a short kick. Fielded at the 15. Gets it out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. 2nd possession upcoming for the Raiders. Well, have you heard the word? Password is back. Watch your favorite celebrities take on TV's most exciting game. Regis Philbin hosts $1 Million Password tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. JaMarcus Russell looked awfully good on that first scoring drive. Perfect 3 of 3. First opening drive touchdown since December of last year. McFadden is in the game. They swing it out to him, trying to get him in space. The rookie, and he's got a 1st down.
Go ahead. I don't think there's any way that the Raiders could justify not finding ways to get the ball to this guy early in every single game. Establish him as the threat that he is. You just don't see guys that can do things the way that he can do things when the ball is in his hands. Nothing bad is going to happen. He knows what to do with the ball. That's why you drafted him. You can't justify waiting until the second quarter to get him in the ball game.
That was good for 13 yards. This time they split him out as a wide receiver. They give it to Fargas. Gets to midfield. You saw the graphic. McFadden last week ended up with 114 total yards from scrimmage. He scored on an 11-yard touchdown run, and he was the Raiders' leading receiver, 3 catches for 68 yards.
Yeah, 3 catches, 68 yards. He ran for 46 yards. He's just a guy that, and when he's on the field, he scares defensive coordinators and defensive players to the extreme. They are always aware of where he is.
Those stats even more impressive when you consider he didn't touch the ball until 4 minutes gone in the second. Lawton, the fullback, brought down at the 47-yard line in Houston territory. Orlon Greenwood made the stop.
Well, we talk about what McFadden can do with the football. Watch what he does when he doesn't have the football. He goes looking for somebody to hurt and to hit. Oh, double whammy right there. Nick Ferguson, the veteran, says, wait a minute now.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah, okay, it's on now.
Rookie out of Arkansas, 3rd pick overall. 3rd down. And that's caught. Schillings again. And that was a bullet from JaMarcus Russell.
Well, it looks so far like Chaz Schillings and JaMarcus Russell didn't get the memo that the Raiders aren't supposed to have much of a passing game. They've been hooking up, making it look easy. That ball right there, a little bit behind Chaz Schillings, but definitely catchable. And Chaz Schillings, a nice adjustment to the ball, tucks it and runs. A rookie 7th-round draft choice, establishing and taking advantage of his opportunity so far today.
Jacques Reeves lost his footing. That was good for 24 yards. Raiders on the move again toward the end zone, and there was a collision at the 5-yard line. Johnny Lee Higgins was the intended receiver, but no flag.
Well, you know, this is one of those situations where there definitely was contact. And you're going to see a collision right here. The ball is in the air. You can see the ball going up. You know, that's Eugene Wilson coming over. He was running to the corner to defend his route. They ran into each other. Technically, I guess you could throw a flag on that play. The ball was in the air and he was hit, yeah.
First incomplete pass for JaMarcus Russell. Fargas bounces it to the outside, pulls over his own man, and has a nice pickup inside the 15-yard line.
But by the same token, Bill, on a play like that, when going back to that last pass play, it could almost be looked at as a pick from the other side of things, too. Maybe Wilson was being picked by the receiver to open up a guy going to the corner. So that's one of those judgment calls by the referee. He's got to decide if it was a catchable ball and all the other factors that go into making that decision.
That'll help the Raiders average. Perfect so far, 3 of 3 in 3rd down situations. Pitch it back to McFadden, trying to get to the edge. And he'll be stopped short of the 1st down.
Good job by the Texans defense. You can see all the action going right. JaMarcus Russell trying to fake the flow to the right and then try and get one-on-one on the outside with your speedy back, but a good tackle by Dante Robinson right there. Back from a terrible knee injury last year, and he's reestablished himself and really been a factor in making this defense play at the level that it's been playing the last few weeks.
He looks a little woozy as he goes to the sideline.
That was a good solid hit.
33-yard field goal try by Sebastian Janikowski. Raiders all-time leading scorer, and that is good. So the Raiders regain the lead. 33-yard field goal, 3:42 left to go in the first. It's 10-7 Oakland. Big hit. We're back. The last time the Texans were here in November of last year, Dante Robinson suffered a potentially career-ending injury to his right hamstring and right ACL. It happened on this play. They took him off the field on a cart, And with an injury that Gary Kubiak called devastating, he had to have reconstructive surgery. There was a question as to whether or not he'd ever get back. In fact, to this day, he's never seen the video of the injury. Onside kick.
The Raiders got it.
Trickery from the Raiders, and it pays off. Rashad Baker recovers the onside kick.
Bill, you remember yesterday at the walkthrough, they were working a lot on the onside kick in practice. We were talking about, boy, they're still putting a lot of time into this onside kick stuff, and sure enough, it comes up early, totally caught the Texans off guard. You know, when you're sitting in a position the Raiders are sitting in, when you're sitting in a position the Raiders are sitting in, why not try a few creative things to try and create a little bit of excitement in this atmosphere?
Sometimes it works, and sometimes it's a fake field goal that doesn't work.
Exactly.
No, we're going.
The disastrous play a few weeks ago against Kansas City. They tried to surprise the Chiefs, and Kansas City ended up returning it 67 yards for a touchdown. This time, though, it pays off. Raiders right back to work on offense. Fargas, a nice move across midfield into Houston territory. And the Raiders have just come out fired up.
Now, this is not a team that looks like they have not won many games lately. They've lost, as you pointed out early, Bill, they've lost. This is guaranteed this year to lose at least 11 games for the 6th year in a row. But they're playing like a team with something to play for today. A lot of passion, a lot of energy out in the field for the Raiders.
Fargas, 8 carries, 31 yards so far. Miller was the motion man, again on the ground, and tripped up for a loss of 1. Anthony Weaver made the stop.
And here we are now, another 3rd down situation. Again, as you mentioned, Bill, the Houston Texans have been absolutely phenomenal the last 4 weeks on 3rd down, giving up only 20% conversion rate. The Raiders have made it look very easy. They're keeping it in 3rd and short, manageable situations for JaMarcus Russell.
So from the shotgun on 3rd and 4. Quickly out to his tight end Miller, 1st down. Zach Miller in his 2nd year out of Arizona State. The Raiders' leading receiver coming in with 50 catches for 674 yards.
That's why you see it's so important to keep those 3rd down situations manageable. You can throw a quick little 1 or 2 yard pass to your big tight end, let him turn it up, get the 1st down. You don't have to the quarterback doesn't feel like he's got to force the ball up the field to try and make something happen.
8 of 9 for 98 yards and a touchdown. The numbers so far for JaMarcus Russell. Last pass was good for 8 and a 1st down. Russell will throw with time, guns it over the middle. That's caught by Miller. Well, the Texans knew the Raiders had the potential to be dangerous. They have wins over 2 divisional leaders this year, the Jets and Denver. The other was against Kansas City, and that's how the Texans viewed them this week. Gary Kubiak told his players not to look at the Raiders' record, but to see the game as individual battles, that they're just too talented to take anything for granted.
And a little bit of concern on the face of Gary Kubiak there. JaMarcus Russell having fun. Gary Kubiak not much fun yet today.
Miller 3 catches for 51 yards. McFadden in the backfield. He gets it. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. A little slow getting up, and there you go. A little mud in the helmet. Well, you thought the fantasy football season was over? It's not. Sign up for NFL.com's Playoff Challenge, where you could win a trip to Super Bowl 44, only at NFL.com/fantasy. There was an inadvertent flag, so they're going to pick it up. It'll be 2nd and 10. And I don't think inside is where you necessarily are going to get the most production out of Darren McFadden. Done a good job so far of getting him in space. 2nd and 10. Fargas the deep back. They'll throw toward the sideline. That's a nice catch by Schillens. And he fights his way down to the 12-yard line.
Good, solid play selection and creativity by the Oakland Raiders right now. You can see their total yards today versus their season average in the first quarter. 42 yards what they've been averaging in the first quarter. Very slow starting today. Already 158 yards and making it look easy, by the way.
3rd and 2. Raiders already lead at 10-7. They'll throw. Russell. And wisely throws it away. He was eyeing his tight end Tony Stewart, but Stewart was well covered. And again, we'll see Sebastian Janikowski.
JaMarcus Russell looks like he's in complete control out there on the field today. From the get-go, he's been on the money, on time, moving around the pocket a little bit, buying some time. But his offensive line up front has been doing a super job of keeping the Houston Texans, specifically Mario Williams. We haven't even said his name yet. That's a guy that you got to stop if you want to have success against the Texans.
30-yard field goal try. And the successfully executed onside kick results in 3 points. 13-7 Raiders. The Houston Texans have won their last 4 straight. That's a single-season franchise record for Houston. The Raiders are suffering through another difficult season. They've lost 3 in a row, 7 of their last 8. They've lost 4 straight here at home, but they lead now with 5 seconds left in the first, 13-7. Davis from the 5. And accelerates close to the 30-yard line. And that will bring us to the end of the opening quarter with our score 13-7 Oakland. We'll return to Oakland after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're ready to start the second quarter. Only the second possession of the game for the Houston Texans. They'll start from their own 29-yard line, 1st and 10. Slayton gets it out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Well, the Raiders have been just awful against the run this year. They gave up a season-high 277 yards rushing against New England last week. They've averaged giving up 167 yards a game on the ground this year, and that is close to an all-time low for the Raiders.
And there you see Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. He's adamantly defended his troops, but the facts are the facts.
Back to the ground on 2nd down. Some tough yards. Close to the 33-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Well, how bad have they been, the Raiders? You can see it's been a number of problems. You got the gap control. There's nobody there to support the run. Then right here, look at the flow. Everything going this way, but the cutback. Everybody, the over pursuit has been a problem for the Raiders. And then poor tackling. Right there, Nnamdi Asomugha doesn't do much wrong, but the Raiders in general have not been tackling well, and I think those have been the 3 major factors that have been very consistent for their defense.
3rd and 6. Incomplete. The receiver fell down. That was intended for David Anderson, and he lost his footing.
Well, you know, Bill, something tells me that there should be a better matchup on the field than David Anderson on Nnamdi Asomugha. You would think that Matt Schaub back there in that situation might like his matchup a little bit better with Andre Johnson or Kevin Walter. They can't be doubling everybody out there in the field. Even Owen Daniels out there got better matchups than your 3rd receiver on the best cornerback in football.
40-year-old Matt Turk on to punt it. This is a short punt. Takes a Texans bounce down to the 28-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over, leading 13-7. Raiders off to a much better start than they were over the last couple of weeks. They were down 21-0 last week and 24-0 the week before against San Diego. Now leading 13-7. Russell will throw again. Plenty of time. Over the middle again, Zach Miller. Eugene Wilson, the free safety, made the stop after a nice pickup.
Oh, great poise by JaMarcus Russell with the fake. He wanted to go outside first. He just kept his cool, kept his composure, and then a nice smooth throw to the, for whatever reason, wide open Zach Miller coming across the middle. Now, the good hard run action is what's happening there because the linebackers have to step up to defend the run. That lets Zach Miller get behind him.
That was good for 19 yards. Fargas driven back after getting to the 49-yard line. Let's take a look at the numbers for the Raiders in the first quarter. These are season highs. 7 first downs, 158 yards, and 13 points.
A touchdown also, which is key. 2 field goals, but the touchdown, that is only their third. At the time, it was their third touchdown offensively in the first half this year out of 80 possessions. But playing very, very efficient. They're in a Wildcat right now, Darren McFadden.
McFadden will get the snap. And flag on the play.
Oh,
they had something planned.
They did, and JaMarcus Russell knows it.
False start, number 64, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, that was going to be a razzle-dazzle play. They were going to try and get the ball. They were going to give the ball. You're going to see JaMarcus Russell right here. He's going to come around. They're going to hand the ball off underneath, and they were going to, looks to me like they were going to give Justin Fargas the ball. He was going to toss it right there to JaMarcus Russell, and you had a receiver running down the field for a deep route. They were going to try and hit Johnny Lee Higgins behind everybody for a touchdown. The penalty on Jake Grove.
They called that on Jake Grove, the center, but I didn't see anything in that replay that indicated a false start.
No, he's the center. It's hard for the center to be off false start.
2nd and 13 after the penalty. Fargas, nice little spin move, gets it back to about the 48-yard line. Kevin Bentley, strong side linebacker, made the stop. He led the Texans with 8 tackles last week in their fine performance against Tennessee.
Bill, you know, that last play, the penalty play, is huge because I know Tom Cable had set that play up for that particular situation. You can only show it one time. It's either going to work or it isn't. And to not even get a chance to execute the play, it's got to be frustrating.
3rd and 9. Russell under pressure, has to get rid of it, incomplete. Johnny Lee Higgins was the intended receiver, but he was double covered.
And for the first time today, really good, quick pressure from the Houston Texans on JaMarcus Russell. He did not have the time to find his receiver. You're going to see you got Mario Williams, who switched to the other side of the field right there, but also good pressure by Jesse Nading, number 72, coming up the middle. They had some penetration there for the first time today.
Jacoby Jones standing back at his own 10-yard line. Shane Leckler boots it, named to his 4th Pro Bowl this week. Fair catch called for and made at about the 9-yard line. 11:04 left in the half, 13-7 Raiders. A long field for the Houston Texans as they start at their own 10-yard line. Slayton the deep back. Schaub will throw on first down, rolling to his right and throws it away. Outstanding coverage by the Oakland Raiders. You know, a number of games of playoff implications today. Week 16. Well, Tennessee and Pittsburgh have clinched first-round byes. Miami a winner today. Denver has a chance to wrap up the AFC West.
Yeah, Tennessee did clinch the home field advantage all the way through, and now you've got to say that Miami is the favorite now in the NFC East by virtue of their AFC East, excuse me, by virtue of the big win today.
Nice hole for Steve Slayton, and he's still on his feet. Wow. He's not a big man, but Gary Kubiak told us he runs with a lot of heart.
He runs with a lot of heart, and he also told us that he gets really upset if they try to take him out of the game, even for a play. Right here you can see, you know, he also mentioned to us, Gary Kubiak, that when you got a kid coming out of the spread offense in college, that is a question mark in some coaches' minds, whether he's going to be able to pick up the NFL system, pass protection, running the ball inside between the tackles. Slayton has shown him it's not been an issue for him.
That was good for 19 yards. Schaub play action under pressure, buys some more time, and he's going to take off with it. Dives forward across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
Well, that was one of the plays that Gary Kubiak, coming from the Denver Broncos under Mike Shanahan, famous for trying to get the big play off of play action. You're going to see Andre Johnson coming across the field here, trying to suck the whole Raiders defense up on the play action, but no, the good discipline out of the Raiders, which is kind of uncharacteristic in and of itself, the discipline part of it, but nowhere to go for Matt Schaub with that football.
2nd and 2 after the scramble. Slayton bottled up. Well, the Texans came in with some outstanding weapons on offense. 3 talented receivers in Andre Johnson, Kevin Walter, and Owen Daniels at tight end. Steve Slayton, of course, the rookie running back, has given them a tremendous production on the ground. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield and has the speed to go the distance. Anytime you can get him in some space. So 3rd and 2 for the Texans.
There's the matchup, Nnamdi Asomugha and Andre Johnson.
Slayton.
Boy.
And that's going to be close. It depends on where they spot it.
It really does. I really think that he hit the ground with that ball a little bit short of the first down. They're going to have to measure this one. Actually, looked like there's not even going to be a measurement. Oh, here they come.
They'll bring out the chains. Talking about Steve Slayton and how tough he is running with the football. Tremendous heart. You knew he was a brave young man because he grew up outside of Philadelphia and was a Dallas Cowboys fan. He said the guy he used to love watching play was Emmitt Smith, and this is going to be short.
But I know Gary Kubiak well enough. I played for him at Denver. He's gone for it on 4th down 19 times this year. One of the most confident, most aggressive coaches in these type of situations. I'm not surprised. They're not going to be in the playoffs this year. This is the time for your team to make a statement, for you to make a statement to your team that you have the confidence in them. Put it in their hands and see if they can get that 1st down in a big situation. And you can tell Gary Kubiak's confidence is permeating, radiating through this whole Houston Texans offense, the whole organization. We'll see if they can pick it up here.
They're on their feet here in Oakland. 4th and less than 1. Quarterback sneak. He's got it.
Easy.
Well, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 16. That's all coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Well, after the 1st down, 1st and 10 for Houston. This drive started at their own 10-yard line. Slant, and that might be pass interference. Intended for Andre Johnson.
Chris Johnson on the play of the defense.
He was draped all over him.
He really was, and you can see the strategy of the Raiders even when Nnamdi Asomugha is covering him.
Pass interference, 37, defense. Automatic 1st down, spot of the foul.
Chris Johnson took over at cornerback after D'Angelo Hall was released.
And you can see the nice inside release by Andre Johnson, but definitely contact before the ball got there. But it seems as though even when Nnamdi Asomugha is matched up on Andre Johnson, they're going to be trying to roll a safety over the top to discourage a throw that way.
From midfield, out to Slayton, tries to make a move, and falls forward into Oakland territory. Jabril Wilson made the stop.
Good open field tackle by Jabril Wilson. on a pretty darn talented guy. We're going to talk about Steve Slayton a lot today, but what it is that makes him so special, there are so many factors that go into it. It starts with his heart, like we talked about, Bill, but he can catch the ball, he can run inside, outside. He's all-purpose yards. There's nobody better right now in the NFL.
And he's coming off 3 straight 100-yard games and 4 in the last 5 games. Schaub off the play action has Daniels, the tight end. And that's a first down close to the 35-yard line.
Really a nice throw by Matt Schaub to Owen Daniels. You see again the good hard play action fake to the left, and Matt Schaub almost dropped that ball after he made the fake, but kept his cool, made a nice throw under pressure. You can see he kind of bobbles it there a little bit, but lays the ball in there right on the money to Owen Daniels. A lot of both sides of the ball today, both the Raiders and the Texans. A lot of boot action hitting those tight ends coming across the field.
Daniels came in as the second leading receiver among tight ends in the AFC behind Tony Gonzalez. He wanted to hit Andre Johnson and finally just got rid of it.
And I'll tell you what, Bill, that's one where I think Matt Schaub might have been justified and take a shot up the field to Andre Johnson. You're going to see right here, there was a little bit of safety help over the top, but Andre Johnson's going to outrun that ball if it's thrown up in the corner of the end zone. If it's thrown out over here, Andre Johnson's going to win that battle 9 times out of 10.
You saw his reaction. He knew it too.
He wanted that opportunity.
Coming off a franchise record and personal best 11 catches for 207 yards. The most by any receiver in the AFC this season. 9th play of the drive upcoming, 2nd and 10. They want to set up the screen. And that is almost picked off. It was over the head of Steve Slayton. Thomas Howard almost had it.
Well, that was just a really bad throw by Matt Schaub. That ball got away from him. Not a bad decision. Steve Slayton was definitely open, but Matt Schaub had to go up and over, and the ball kind of sailed on him a little bit. Boy, that was dangerous. Very, very close to being an interception.
So 3rd and 10. (13-7) Oakland. Just under 6.5 minutes to play in the opening half. From the shotgun. Schaub. Again, too high for Slayton.
Yeah, the timing was off on that. Matt Schaub very upset. Steve Slayton did something he didn't like, but it's tough. Sometimes these guys are going to be bumped around every once in a while. That ball was not accurate, not on the money. Matt Schaub upset. I don't know if he's upset at himself or that Steve Slayton, maybe the timing was off on how he ran his route, but he's not happy about it at all.
Chris Brown on to try a long field goal. Long this year is 50 yards.
Tough conditions on a wet field, 53-yarder.
Good.
Wow.
It was not a thing of beauty, but effective. A 53-yard field goal by Chris Brown. 13-10 Oakland. A season-long 53-yard field goal for Chris Brown. He had a 57-yarder last year against Miami. And that was a line drive kick that just barely sailed over the crossbar.
I'll tell you what, that ball hardly got above that crossbar at all the whole time it was in the air.
Justin Miller, who's returned 2 for touchdowns. And brought down hard at the 26-yard line. And let's take another look at the 53-yard Chris Brown field goal. A line drive and just barely. Time report, the playoff picture starting to come into focus. Join JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cower, all the NFL scores and highlights from Week 16. That's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. 1st and 10 for the Raiders from their own 26-yard line. Short drop over the middle. Big hit, incomplete. And that was intended for the tight end, Tony Stewart. D'Amico Ryans delivered the blow. Now the Raiders have struggled offensively. They rank 31st in the league in total offense, last in throwing the football, but look what they've done so far.
Well, you'd like to see a couple of those turn into field goals. They were down in the red zone, but for the Raiders, this is a thing of beauty. Their offense has been working very, very efficiently today. You got to be excited from their standpoint.
Vargas cuts it up and brought down hard. Another big hit delivered by that Texan defense. Nick Ferguson, the strong safety. And let's listen.
Yeah, that
draws a gasp from the crowd.
There are certain things, Bill, that I do miss about not playing the game anymore. Let me just tell you this, that's not one of them right there.
Texans are coming off a very physical game. Gary Kubiak said it was one of the most physical games he's seen in a long time last week against Tennessee. Vargas close to the 35-yard line.
They're going to have to punt.
Short of a first down.
Well, Bill, on that note that you made, though, about the physical game last week, I really believe that that was a turning point for this Houston Texans organization. The way they beat Tennessee, playing Tennessee's game, the physical, pound the ball type of game, beat them at their own deal. And that, to a young team that hasn't been there before, is a huge accomplishment. And they believe now they're not going to get roughed up by anybody.
Jacoby Jones, dangerous, standing at his own 20-yard line. Leckler, this is a booming punt in the rain. Fielded at the 9. And the ball is down. Still loose. Scramble for it. A 56-yard punt. And the Texans were able to come away with it. Jacques Reeves fell on the loose football. Jones holding his right arm as he heads to the sideline. Well, tonight on CBS, they were the glamour girls of the air, but the friendly skies weren't always so friendly. A new episode of Cold Case tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. 4:27 to work with. Texans down by 3. Trying to extend their franchise record winning streak in a single season to 5 games. Slayton stacked up at the 21-yard line.
Bill, I can tell you right now that the Raiders are doing some different things defensively. Give credit to Rob Ryan here. This is a team that normally plays with a single safety. They have a safety up in for run support inside. What they're doing right now, because they're afraid of Andre Johnson getting one-on-one coverage, they're playing too deep, no run support. Gary Kubiak knows that his team has got to be able to run the ball into that defense. They have not been able to do it effectively so far today.
2nd and 8. Slayton. Tough footing out there. Brought down at the line of scrimmage. Nnamdi Asamoah. Now, we talked about the rookie. 3rd-round pick out of West Virginia, and what he has accomplished. He came in needing just 65 yards to set the single-season franchise rushing record for the Texans, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. That's 5th in the National Football League, and nobody's been better over the last 5 games than Steve Slayton. 579 total yards.
Oh, when he was drafted, too, he even almost looked at himself as more of a 3rd down guy early in his career, but he's shown he needs to be on the field all the time.
3rd and 8. Schaub able to get rid of it. That is caught. Anderson still on his feet. David Anderson down inside the 15-yard line.
Wow. I'll tell you what, that play, you got to give credit to a lot of people on that play. Matt Schaub standing in the pocket, poise, patience, a lot of things happening around him. Look at him, double clutch, giving ground, puts it on the money anyway. Good block from Kevin Walter, but look at Owen Daniel come in from the right side. Boom, right there coming in, buying that extra time for David Anderson to take the ball all the way down to the 14-yard line. He's out of gas right now, but it was worth it, I'll tell you that much.
65 yards. Anderson in his 3rd year out of Colorado State. Back to the air, the fullback Leach. Out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
On the reception from Matt
The
Schaub.
clock, though, continues to run. He was brought down before he went out of bounds. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. Andre Johnson has had a quiet first half, but the Texans are threatening after the 65-yard reception by David Anderson.
Yeah, look at that right there. Only, I don't even know if he's had 2 balls thrown his direction today. They had one chance up the field to get the ball to him. Last week at this time, Bill, you know what his stat line was? 7 catches, 150 yards, and a touchdown in the first half. Today, a little more quiet.
There was a pass interference call, but still no catches for Andre Johnson, the NFL's leading receiver. Reception and yards coming in. Tough yards inside for Steve Slayton.
Well, coming into this game, Andre Johnson, Gary Kubiak, Matt Schaub, everybody knew that with the matchups with the Raiders, with Nnamdi Asomugha, expecting him to get a lot of one-on-one, he wasn't going to be a huge factor in the passing game. You're hoping to get a few plays out of him, but you're not going to be relying on him all day long like normal. And right here, you got the matchup right there.
Asomugha and Andre Johnson, the bottom part of your screen. They'll run it. Nothing. Good push up front by the Raiders.
And Gary Kubiak sending out the field goal team. No doubt about it. You got to give credit to this Raider defense. Struggling against the run all season, but the Texans have not been able to pop anything. You know, you look at the film coming into this game, everybody's breaking big runs against the Raiders fairly consistently. Today, very good gap control and good tackling by the Oakland Raider defense.
So Chris Brown is on to try to tie it up. 24-yard field goal try. And good. So 38 seconds left in the half. We're tied at 13. Rain continues to fall here in Oakland, tied at 13. 38 seconds left in the half. Chris Brown ready to kick it off after the field goal. Justin Miller. Line drive kick taken by an up man. So they'll be returning it out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Good field position for the Raiders. Well, after 31 years, the show The Pros Watch has a new home inside the NFL. Is now on Showtime. Join JB, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp, and Phil Simms every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Showtime.
Hey, Bill, that was a significant play right there, that kickoff. Luke Lawton, I don't know how he caught that line shot from Chris Brown, but getting the ball back out to the 42-yard line with 32 seconds left, the Raiders have time to get in field goal range.
Let's see what JaMarcus Russell can do from the shotgun. They run the screen. McFadden out across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
The Raiders take a timeout. They've still got 2 left. That was their first. You know, it is amazing when you talk about 2-minute offense, how often teams start with the first play of that 2-minute series being either a screen pass or a draw pass.
Well, they've got a kicker with one of the strongest legs in the National Football League, and Sebastian Janikowski is the Raiders' all-time leading scorer. He broke the great George Blanda's record last month against Carolina. Had his career-long 57 yards back in October to beat the Jets in overtime.
And I don't know whether he's going to have that full range today, but you know, if anybody does, it's him. He can boom the ball.
McFadden alone in the backfield. Second and 6, 25 seconds remaining. Russell, plenty of time. Lost it toward the sidelines. That was almost picked off. McFadden was the intended receiver, but that hung in the air.
Well, JaMarcus Russell had a flashback right there to his LSU days. That was a very poor decision by a young quarterback. That ball should have been intercepted by Dante Robinson. He thought he could outsmart Dante Robinson and lay the ball up over the top to Darren McFadden. But, you know, mistakes like that are just not very common in the NFL. Dante Robinson, a veteran cornerback, former first-round draft choice. Very, very disciplined, smart player. They're not going to make the mistakes you might have gotten away with a couple years ago.
His 5th year out of South Carolina, so 3rd and 6. Checks it down. Lawton, the fullback, brought down hard. That's a first down, and they'll take another timeout. 11 seconds remaining. Remember, they had Sebastian Janikowski try a 76-yard field goal against San Diego.
Needless to say, he didn't make it, but
looked like it went about 63 yards.
Yes, it did.
But they have a lot of confidence in his leg strength.
They do, and that right there too, Bill, was I mentioned how JaMarcus Russell did not make a very good decision on the previous play. That one right there, he did. Checking down to Luke Lawton underneath for the first down, get 5-6 more yards, give yourself a chance at another play.
Fargus is alone in the backfield. They don't have McFadden out there. Russell, incomplete. Zach Miller had it and lost it.
And that just does not happen very often. That ball on time, on the money to Zach Miller. He did drop a ball last week against New England that hit him right in the chest, just like that in the back of the end zone. It would have been a touchdown for the Raiders in that game. Today, right there, boy, that was one of those things where he just got a little bit excited when he saw that ball coming. Tried to use his chest instead of those big paws he's got. You got to catch the ball with your hands when you've got a chance.
That would have been well within Janikowski's field goal range. 7 seconds left. Russell. Clock running out.
They're not going to get a play.
And they aren't.
It took too much time.
They complete the ball to Johnny Lee Higgins, but time has run out in the first half. And we'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
And welcome back to New York and the Sprint halftime report. I'm James Brown, along with my guys, Dan, Coach Shannon, and Boomer. Mike Holmgren coaching his last home game there in Seattle, holding to a 4-point lead over the New York Jets. Boom.
And the fans are showing Coach Holmgren some love, guys. As you said, JB, his last game to be coached there at home in Seattle. What a day it is. Look at the weather. Brett Favre drops back to back. He's going to move to his left. And I don't know how do you explain this. He just throws it up for grabs. It's picked off by cornerback Josh Wilson. Now comes back Seneca Wallace. He's going to find John Carlson in the back of the end zone. 7-3 Seattle.
Jay Cutler's going to fake. The naked boot, 2 yards, puts the Broncos up early, 7-0. Eddie Royal. If they're going to chase it one way, hand the ball to Eddie Royal, going out the other way, and fast Eddie. Eddie.
How fast? How fast?
Well, the guy that's chasing him faster.
He's got a better angle.
13-3 Broncos, but the Bills are driving.
Coach, all right. And Tavares Jackson, I'll tell you, he's 8 of 9 in the first half. He finds Fashante Shanko for this on this bootleg. He does a great job of getting it over the goal line. But Jarius Noah will take this pass from Matt Ryan, a little shovel pass, 14-7. 3 Minnesota turnovers in the first half.
And the Eagles, Donovan McNabb drops back. Time to throw up. But here comes Jason Taylor, gets a sack on him. And Jason Campbell, not a whole lot going on in this game. He hits Liddell Betts for a 9-yard gain. Nothing going on much, 3-0 Washington.
And Philly needs to win and get some help.
JaMarcus Russell play fake. Up top, Chad Schilling, 20 yards, 7-0 early, but 13-13 at the half.
In a game-determined home field, Chris Johnson on 4th down takes a 21-yard touchdown run, and he leads Tennessee. Tennessee's defense, 5 sacks, 4 turnovers, and Kerry Collins was 20 of 29 for 216 yards as they celebrate the regular season win. And I'll tell you, Kerry Collins talks about the big win.
Well, it was a great team effort, first of all. I mean, the defense came up big with some sacks, interceptions, turnovers, and the offense was more efficient. You know, we put some drives together, converted some 3rd downs and 4th downs, and I think it had a big key with the way the game turned out.
And Tyler Thigpen threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also had 3 interceptions. Chad Pennington was 26 for 34, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chad talks about the win in Kansas City.
We've been in a playoff-style atmosphere for the last 6-7 weeks, and it's the next game. Is it a big game? Absolutely, because we're playing for the playoffs, and we're excited about it.
All right, terrible weather in New England this week, guys. Matt Castle, 20 of 36, 345 yards and 3 touchdowns. They go to 10-5. They need some help to get into the playoffs. Wes Welker right here, nice play. Randy Moss, 76-yard touchdown pass at the start of the second half.
Phillip Rivers did all he could to help the Chargers have a meaningful game next week. 21 of 31, 287, 4 touchdowns. This 32-yard score on a screen pass to Darren Sproles. Jeff Garcia is trying to rally his troops. He knows he needs to have a score and he needs to have it quick. But Quentin Jammer tips it. Antoine Cason, he picks it. 59 yards as they roll 41-24. Phillip Rivers would talk about who he's going to be rooting for, JB, in the Broncos-Bills game.
You know it.
You're looking a lot like a Buffalo Bills fan right now.
There's no question about it.
You know, on a weekly basis, it seems like the same thing. Drew Brees, 351 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Rod Marinelli having to go to the podium again.
Yeah, no excuses. I accept full responsibility for everything that's gone on. I don't point fingers. It's on me, totally.
You're a good man, Rod Marinelli, all rooting for you. How about the Cincinnati Bengals? Leon Hall, 3 interceptions on the day. They shut out the Cleveland Browns in the Battle of Ohio. Ryan Fitzpatrick, how about this line, guys? 5 completions, 9 attempts, 55 yards and a touchdown.
And Sean Hill finds Isaac Bruce here for his 1,000th career reception for a touchdown. And at the end of the game, Sean Hill, who had 3 interceptions but 2 touchdowns, this one, 48 yards to Josh Morgan, that wins the game for San Francisco.
Wow. All right, folks, so on the AFC side of the house, the number 1 seed is Tennessee. Number 2 is Pittsburgh. 5th seed is Indy. And right now, Baltimore is looking good. Nobody wants to mess with them at all. On the NFC side, Coach, take a look at that one.
And the Giants, I'll tell you what, the big game tonight for home field with Carolina. And again, Atlanta controlling their own destiny. And Philadelphia, right now, I mean, they have to come back. They got a chance to control their own destiny, but they're struggling right now with Washington.
And Dallas has still got a shot, too, guys. They're not knocked out either.
All right, Buffalo, take a look at Marshawn Lynch.
And how about this around the corner?
Marshawn Lynch racing him to the end zone. Going to look like he's going to have a 13-10 ball game at the half.
And we know if Denver wins, Denver is in, clinching the West. But right now,
San Diego's happy.
Second half coming your way right after this.
More Leon Washington.
CBS Sports presents the Sprint Halftime Report. Get the new NFL Mobile Live, only from Sprint, only on the Now Network.
The rain continues to fall here in Oakland. We're tied at 13. Bill Macatee back with Steve Beuerlein. And Steve, a pretty impressive first half from JaMarcus Russell. I don't think he's ever played better for a half.
I don't have any doubt that he hasn't played any better for a half. For a game, whatever you want to say, the kid looks like he's in complete control out there today. He hasn't been rattled or flustered at all. He's made good decisions whenever he's had a chance to make a decision. One throw that maybe was a little bit of an ill-advised decision. He didn't pay the price for it. He's been very, very solid all day long, and I think the Raiders have got to be excited about that.
14 of 20 for 189 yards. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. They have done an outstanding job, the Raiders, in bottling up Andre Johnson.
They really have. Even though you see the number right here, Matt Schaub completing passes for 139 yards, he's only completed 50% of his throws, none to Andre Johnson. Rushing yards, only 57 yards. The Raiders have been tackling well. They've been gap controlling well on defense. Really effective, really impressive this first half. Although the Houston Texans have found a way to keep this game tied up at 13-13. They made a few plays to get themselves back in the game.
And again, this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Tied at 13. This is only, as we said, the 4th meeting between the Raiders and the Texans, and Houston has won all 3 of the previous meetings, including last year here in Oakland, 24-17. Texans working on a 4-game winning streak. The Raiders trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. They've also lost 4 straight here at home. Texans will get the ball to start the second half. Pooch kick fielded by an up man at the 28-yard line. The Raiders are pulling out all the stops. Well, they'll start at their own 36-yard line. And let's take a look at the big 3 and see how they did in the opening half.
Yeah, just how well has the Raiders defense been playing. You can see right there, Steve Slayton averaging over 115 yards rushing the last 4 weeks. Today, only 33 yards. We've already talked about Andre Johnson. And right away, we see the matchup on the outside, one-on-one up at the top with Nnamdi Asomugha. I think Gary Kubiak is going to try to get him involved here today.
Play action. Under pressure, it's sacked. Jay Richardson with his 3rd sack of the season.
Well, you're going to see pressure coming right there, Matt Schaub. They were trying to look on the outside to Andre Johnson, but the pressure came pretty quickly from Jay Richardson right there. They had safety help over the top. It might look like Andre Johnson was open, but Nnamdi Asomugha knew he had help with the safety over the top. Matt Schaub, that's why he didn't pull the trigger on it.
Richardson beat the rookie, first-round pick out of Virginia Tech, Dwayne Brown. That's caught at the 30-yard line. Kevin Walter with his first reception of the game. He's become an outstanding complimentary receiver to Andre Johnson, tied for the team lead in touchdowns with 8, which puts him tied for 2nd in the AFC.
He makes a lot of big plays, but right there, the Raiders more than willing on 2nd and 20 to give the short underneath pass to Kevin Walter and make the tackle for a 5-yard gain.
Slayton in motion. Empty backfield on 3rd and 16. Schaub checks it down. That's going nowhere. Owen Daniels tackled immediately by Jabril Wilson.
That was really good coverage by Jabril Wilson. You're going to see right there, number 28. The Texans had set up that tight end screen. They run it earlier very successfully. But right there, Jabril Wilson said, "You fooled me once, okay, but you will not fool me again." Very impressive series right there to start the 2nd half by the Raiders defense.
Matt Turk, who came in averaging almost 43 yards a punt, gets this one away. Higgins has returned 2 for touchdowns and brought down immediately at the 26-yard line. A 43-yard punt, opening possession of the 2nd half for the Raiders coming up. JaMarcus Russell coming off the best first half of his young career with 189 yards passing. Previous best was 162. They fake the toss. Russell will throw toward the sidelines, and that is ruled incomplete. Johnny Lee Higgins couldn't bring it in.
Bill, right there, should have been a completion on the outside of Johnny Lee Higgins. A little bit of a low throw, but he could have had the same exact result. Zach Miller was open in the flat underneath. You're going to see Johnny Lee Higgins definitely open. Not going to say it was a bad decision by JaMarcus Russell, but when you're coming out on those bootlegs, your first read is always to the flat, and Zach Miller was uncovered wide open in the flat.
And it was a little bit underthrown. Fargas, nice hole on the right side. Big hit, but keeps his feet. Eugene Wilson, the free safety, delivered a blow, but Fargas just kept going.
Well, that was a great show of the balance that Justin Fargas has. You're going to see a tremendous hit by the safety coming up here. Right at that point, boom, Wilson, good hit on him, but you know what? In the NFL, if the running back has got a head of steam going, if you don't wrap him up, most of the time, these guys are good enough to bounce off and keep going, just as Justin Fargas just did.
That moved the chains, 1st and 10. Fargas again finds the corner. And out of bounds near midfield. Raiders leading rusher coming in with 749 yards, averaging just about 4 yards a carry. Running back comparison, the rookie with 33 yards. They've done a good job on him today. Fargas going over 60. They spot it at the Raider 46-yard line.
And those 60 yards have been good, strong, physical runs. Right now, Darren McFadden in the backfield.
Toss it back to McFadden. And he makes a nice move. Darren McFadden into Texan territory.
Well, you're going to see the play come right. Watch Mario Williams, number 90, right here, has a chance to make that tackle, but you see how strong Darren McFadden is. Just runs right through the big outstretched arm of Mario Williams. A nice pickup again. Another first down for the Oakland Raiders.
And considering that the Raiders don't have a lot of offensive weapons, you just wonder why he ever comes off the field.
Yeah,
figure out a way to keep him out there.
You've got to get your best guys out there as much as possible.
McFadden again. Nice hole. Darren McFadden tripped up inside the 30 by Wilson.
Well, that's what Darren McFadden brings to you. Watch how quick, when we talked to Tom Cable, the first word that came out was explosive. Nice gap right there. Big seam. Great job by the Raiders right side there. Cooper Carlisle and Cornell Green. But the explosion, when he sees the gap, when he sees the crease, he hits it. And Tom Cable said by far the most explosive player on our team.
No one else even close. From the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. Fargas is the deep back. They give it to him. And he's upended at the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by the Texan defensive line. Well, coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway post-game show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway post-game show.
And boy, are there a lot of playoff discussions to have. I'm sure the boys will be.
Fellas, we're having some lively debates today on the NFL Today.
They sure will, and I'm sure there'll be more following.
McFadden alone in the backfield. 2nd and 10. Russell up top. And caught. Flag on the play. Johnny Lee Higgins made the catch. And it's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, Dante Robinson begging for the offensive pass interference, but no, it was called on him. When that ball went up in the air, I kind of held my breath. I didn't.
Defense. That penalty has declined. Result of the play. Touchdown.
I was not sure if it was a very good decision because the coverage was pretty good. But the ball a little bit underthrown. Dante Robinson couldn't see it. And Johnny Lee Higgins did and came back, did a great job adjusting back to the football. Only had one-on-one coverage. Beat Dante Robinson for the touchdown.
His 3rd touchdown reception of the season to extend the lead. Janikowski with the extra point, 20-13. 29-yard touchdown pass from JaMarcus Russell to Johnny Lee Higgins. And the Raiders regain the lead. JaMarcus Russell now 15 of 22 for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. 29-yard touchdown pass to Johnny Lee Higgins. And this Raider offense, which came in ranked 31st in the league, has come to life. Again, taken by an up man and driven out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Well, Johnny Lee Higgins scoring his 5th touchdown overall this season. And how about a little boogaloo to celebrate? 2013 Oakland, just under 10 minutes left in the 3rd. Texans from their own 30-yard line. Slayton the deep back, he gets it. Able to make a nice little move to the outside and get it to the 37-yard line.
Well, that's exactly what the Houston Texans need to do, Bill, in my opinion, to get back in control of this football game. Right now, the Raiders are basically daring them to run the football. They're playing a lot of 2-deep coverage over the top, trying to protect their corners from one-on-one coverage on Andre Johnson. If they can't run the football, they don't have a chance. You can see right there, the Raiders dropping back into 2-deep coverage.
2nd and 4. Again on the ground, another nice hole for the rookie. And he gets it to the 45-yard line.
And that is exactly what Gary Kubiak needs to do right now. Okay, if they're going to dare us to run the football, we have got to get physical up front and pound them and make them pay for that. We've got to get that safety to come down in the box to give us one-on-one coverage on the outside to try and make some plays. Nnamdi Asomugha only thrown at 1 time today. A lot of that due to the fact that he's had help over the top as well, though.
Slayton, 12 carries for 48 yards. Play action this time, and he's all alone on the boot. Oh. Daniels. Wow.
And Daniel saying, you know what, Nnamdi? I will take that hit for a first down.
Let's listen. Nnamdi named his first Pro Bowl this week. We talked with Andre Johnson. He said, hey, I voted for him. And Nnamdi told us that he voted for Andre. They have tremendous respect for each other.
They really do.
Leads the NFL in average receptions per game, but he's been shut out today. Nothing there for Slayton.
And that, you got to give credit to the Raiders and their front seven for what they've been able to do. They have not done this at all this year, which is why they've had a lot of problems against the run. Whenever they try to go to two deep coverage to protect against the pass, people have been gashing them.
This is a Raider defense coming off giving up a season-high 277 yards rushing against New England last week. The Patriots were able to run at will. Andre Davis was the motion man. Schaub, he's going to try to take off. We have a flag, and we could have a holding call. Burgess brought him down, but let's check the penalty.
It looks like holding on the Texans.
Holding, number 85, offense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, third down.
Called it on the tight end, Joel Dreesen. So the penalty will be declined. It'll be 3rd and long.
Well, you're going to see Dreesen coming in. He got the hold. No doubt about it.
Basically a takedown of Trevor Scott. They have to get to about the 33-yard line for a first down. Slayton brought down immediately. Chris Johnson with the big hit. And the Raiders are getting physical.
They really are. Look at them jumping around, celebrating. They haven't been doing much of that this year. Matt Schaub nowhere to go up the field. Really a dangerous throw for 2 reasons. 1, it could have been a fumble. 2, Slayton could have got knocked out of the game on a play like that. Kind of hung out there. He's not seeing the defender coming at him. He's assuming that Matt Schaub is throwing it to him because he's open, but nowhere else to go with the football, and a big hit taken by Slayton.
Matt Turk. Johnny Lee Higgins from the 22-yard line. Higgins, Johnny Lee Higgins. He's going to score his 3rd punt return for a touchdown. 80 yards.
Well, Bill, you can confidently say that today has shown that the Raiders do have some playmakers wearing silver and black. They're giving these young guys a chance to make plays. And Johnny Lee Higgins, boy, the 3rd punt return touchdown of the year to go along with the touchdown reception. I think this kid is really making a name for himself here in Oakland.
His 2nd year out of UTEP, a 3rd-round draft pick. Janikowski, the extra point is good, and it is 27-13 Raiders with 5:44 left in the 3rd. They're celebrating in the rain here in Oakland after the 2nd touchdown of the game for Johnny Lee Higgins, his 6th touchdown of the season. And who would have thought that Johnny Lee Higgins would outscore Andre Johnson?
Not me.
Davis from the 1. Gets it out across the 25, close to the 30-yard line. Johnny Lee Higgins came in with 2 touchdown returns this season, back-to-back weeks, and just added an 80-yarder for the Raiders, who lead 27-13. Smiles in Oakland, 5:37 left in the 3rd, 27-13 Raiders. Texans take over 1st and 10 from their own 30. Out into the flat to Slayton. Slayton with a nice move on Kurt Morrison. Able to pick up extra yardage and a 1st down. Well, a few moments ago on the sideline, Johnny Lee Higgins is kind of showing Nnamdi Asomugha. Here's how you do it. This is that dance. It works for me. Nnamdi's going, yeah, okay.
Like, get away from me, man. That's great. We saw on that last play, now, there was one-on-one coverage. Andre Johnson against Nnamdi Asomugha. Looks like you might have it again here at the top of your screen. Andre Johnson is going to have to make some plays before this game is over if Houston wants to get back into it.
Schaub is going to go up top. Incomplete. Andre Davis was the intended receiver. Schaub threw into traffic.
Yeah, that was kind of a forced pass right there, in my opinion, by Matt Schaub. Here you go. You got the one-on-one coverage with Nnamdi Asomugha, but then he lets him go. Might have had a chance to put the ball in there on the money. Matt Schaub, I think, saw something pre-snap, and it's hard sometimes when you're a quarterback. You turn to make the handoff fake, and you look up, and it's a different coverage all of a sudden. Not the right guy to go to on that last play, though.
Andre Johnson still does not have a reception. He's the motion man on 2nd and 10. Here come the Raiders. And the ball is on the ground and recovered by Joel Dreesen. They rule it a reception. And there'll be no challenge. There's Nnamdi Asomugha. Tremendous respect for Andre Johnson, and this is what he's had to face over the last few weeks. Brandon Marshall didn't allow a reception there. Tony Gonzalez, that was a great battle between those two, and Randy Moss last week. Moss caught 3 of 5 for 40 yards. And maybe we are going to have a challenge.
Timeout, Oakland.
Nope.
It's the team's first charge timeout.
Raiders take a timeout with 4:23 left in the 3rd. Only a 30-second timeout. Well, don't take off for the holidays without seeing 60 Minutes on the state of airport security. Plus, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger in the hot seat. That's all tonight on 60 Minutes here on CBS, America's most watched network. Well, how about the performance so far from these Oakland Raiders? They look very, very good. They're 3-11. You have to ask yourself, where has this been all season?
Yeah, you're not talking about a team that has a lot to be excited about, but someone forgot to tell them that this week. You got to give them a lot of credit. You know, they're playing this game like it means something. They're having fun. They're playing with a lot of energy. They've never beaten the Houston Texans. And there you see the dubious distinction the Oakland Raiders have earned. This is the 6th consecutive season with at least 11 losses, breaking the record.
They're trying to avoid 4 consecutive seasons with 12 or more losses. They have to win out, win today and next week.
It's a long season when you're losing that much.
3rd and 6 for Houston. Trying to get anything going. Shot hit as he throws and incomplete. Thomas Howard would have had a pick if that had hung up there any longer.
Well, I'll tell you, this Raider front 7, front 4 specifically, look at the pressure coming. You're going to see right there Burgess coming through. Got Matt Schaub right in the hand. That hurts, folks. I'm telling you, you get a quarterback when his arm is going forward like that. That is how elbows, shoulders, hands get hurt on a quarterback.
Eric Burgess missed 6 games earlier this year with a tricep injury. Raiders really missed his presence when he was out. Higgins back deep, standing at his own 8-yard line.
Eric Winston wishes he wasn't playing today. He got beat right there.
Fair catch called for and made at the 13.
Johnny Lee Higgins with a fair catch.
Well, CBSSports.com has complete coverage of all the NFL playoff races. Get the latest news, updated scenarios, and expert analysis. It's all online right now at CBSSports.com.
Well, Bill, one of the things that the Houston Texans have been doing very, very well lately defensively is generating turnovers. First 10 games of the season, only 9 turnovers out of this team. Last 4 weeks, 11 turnovers, but they have not been able to fluster JaMarcus Russell. This would be a good time to try and get the ball back for your offense.
Fargas.
Ooh, man.
His body contorted into a tough position, but he bounces right back up. Now, part of the reason for the Texans' success over the last 4 games has been the play of their defense.
Their defense, no doubt. You look at the first 10 versus the scoring, half of that. The rushing yards per game allowed way down, and then we talked about the turnovers, takeaways, 11 in the last 4 games. Not coincidentally, they've won the last 4 as opposed to being 3-7 through the first 10.
Raiders with 305 total yards to this point. Russell, Higgins, ball is down on the ground. They ruled that he was down.
Yes.
Down at the 20-yard line. Johnny Lee Higgins had a 56-yard touchdown catch in the first quarter last week against New England. He also had an 84-yard touchdown reception in week 3 against Buffalo. Certainly has, as we've seen already, big playability. 6 touchdowns this season. Now 3 on receptions and 3 on punt returns.
Well, third down, the Raiders today are 6 of 9. The last 2 weeks, Houston Texans only given up 3 of 33 third down conversions.
Russell lofts it to the sideline. McFadden, and that was great concentration because he knew he was going to take a shot.
What a great catch. Knowing that Eugene Wilson was coming over, JaMarcus Russell saw the matchup. It was a zone dog, and you had Jesse Nading, number 72, covering Darren McFadden. That is a little bit of a mismatch, folks. And Eugene Wilson was trying to get over there to help out over the top. Darren McFadden, boy, great concentration to make that catch.
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. McFadden slips as he tries to cut it upfield. Again, you watch him play and you wonder, he had turf toe, he was out of the game plan. In training camp, they had a lot of plays that they had designed for him, but you watch him now, about 90%, he says, healthy, and you wonder why he's not on the field all the time and more involved in the play calling.
Well, there's no way you can justify a guy like that. Even if he's at 75, 80%, the defense is scared of him. They do not want him getting the football, and it occupies their attention and their focus. It opens up things for the rest of your team.
He stays in, and they swing it out to him. That was well covered. Great anticipation on the play from Morlon Greenwood.
Well, Bill, I think as much of the story today for this Raiders offense, you look at what they've done on third down, and here they're going to be in another third down situation right here. They are 7 of 10 on third down. And this is a team that on the season has only been converting 25% of their third downs against a defense that has been incredibly efficient the last 2 weeks. 3 of 33 going into this game. The Raiders have been able to keep the third downs manageable until this right here. They're 3rd and 11. JaMarcus Russell, knowing he's got the lead, has got to be careful with the football.
They toss it back to McFadden. Trying to give him some running room. He dives forward. He's going to be well short of a first down. And let's check in New York with JB for an update.
Bill and Steve, Washington playing some inspired football against the Eagles after a Donovan McNabb fumbled. Clinton Portis takes it across for his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. Washington's defense all over McNabb, and Skins leading it 10-0. Bill Macatee, Steve Beuerlein.
All right, JB, it's been a tough few weeks for the Washington Redskins. Portis headed to the Pro Bowl.
Well, you know, the Eagles, they got a lot to play for still now. They're not playing too well today, but with that tie, it could actually work in their favor against some of the NFC teams trying to get to 10-6. Wow.
And this will go into the end zone. What a punt by Shane Leckler.
He's mad at himself for kicking it so well.
He had punts of 66 and 62 yards last week against New England. That was 58 yards. Well, year after year, more people watch CBS than any other network. And from all of us here at CBS, we're wishing you the best this holiday season and looking forward to a great new year. Good to have you with us here in Oakland. As we're winding down the third quarter, the Raiders lead it 27-13. First and 10 from the Texans' 20-yard line. Walter, the motion man. Schaub across the middle to Walter, and he's brought down hard. Big hit by Hiram Eugene. That's the end of the third quarter, and we'll return to Oakland after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Ready to start the fourth quarter. It has been a tough physical contest in damp conditions here in the Bay Area. First and 10 for the Texans. Slayton out to the 36-yard line.
Well, the Raiders have definitely been the more physical football team on the field today. You have to wonder. Last week, we were talking all week long about how physical that game was for Houston against the Tennessee Titans. You got to wonder if maybe that's had a little cumulative effect on them today.
And Buffalo has taken the lead on Denver 16-13. That could be setting up a battle next week in San Diego for the championship of the AFC West. Schaub, Slayton in space, hurdles one man. Great balance. Steve Slayton into Raider territory.
There you see what it is about Steve Slayton that is so special. He is a tough running back. He doesn't look too big, but boy, he is stout. He's got incredible balance. He's fearless the way he takes the ball up in there, and he plays with a lot of heart. You gotta take him to the ground if you want to end the play. He will not go down easily for you.
That was good for 17 yards. First and 10. Schaub thought about going deep and incomplete, intended for Andre Johnson.
The referee across the field.
One official said it was incomplete, another said it was a catch, and they're going to wave it off.
Second down.
Andre Johnson named to his third Pro Bowl this week. Let's take another look.
Ooh, boy. Almost a trap throw there for Matt Schaub, and boy, hard to tell on that angle. Ruled incomplete, so it's got to be clearly shown that that ball did not hit the ground. It sure looks like it might have touched the ground there, but yep, it definitely hit the ground. Gary Kubiak saved the red flag. That's a first throw to him other than the one that was called for PI earlier in the game.
Pass interference call, right. Slayton alone in the backfield. They give it to him. Legs churning, powers his way inside the 44, close to the 44-yard line. Well, Matt Schaub has been just unbelievable since coming back from the knee injury. He was out for 4 weeks, thrown for almost 700 yards the last 2 games. He was sacked 3 times last week, harassed throughout the game by the Tennessee pass rush. Javon Curse said he got up one time and said, "Hey, good job, freak. Good job, number 90." Curse said, "Hey, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear a quarterback say good job when I'm trying to sack him."
Here comes the blitz.
Able to get rid of it to Daniels, and he's got a first down out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Jabril Wilson rode him down.
Right play at the right time for the Houston Texans. Raiders came with an all-out blitz. You see everybody coming. You saw Michael Huff coming off the defensive right side. Matt Schaub sensing it, gave ground, did a good job of buying time to get the ball to Owen Daniels, who says, "Have a mouthful of this left palm," to Jabril Wilson.
That was good for 15 yards. They spotted at the 29-yard line, first and 10. Texans on the move early in the fourth. Schaub with time. Andre Johnson finally a catch. And brought down right away at the 22-yard line.
Andre Johnson, the one with the clean white jersey there in the middle, the cleanest jersey on the field, has not gotten many attempts to catch the ball today, but something tells me, Bill, that he is going to be a factor before this game is done. He finally gets the first catch of the day. I expect to see Gary Kubiak try and find ways to move him around create one-on-one opportunities for him.
He came in averaging almost 8 catches per game. Play action. Schaub rolling out. And brought down hard by Hiram Eugene, but was able to hang on to the football.
That was, you know, he's going to be a factor. He's too good of a ball player. You see right there all the action going away. He knows he's big enough and strong enough to come across the middle and take hits like that. Matt Schaub, he knows, hey, he's going to get hit, but I got a good chance to make a play with this guy because he's tough enough to take it.
First and goal, they spotted just inside the 10-yard line. Slayton hitting the backfield, but able to dive forward for 3 yards. Nice individual effort by Steve Slayton.
That was a fantastic 3-yard run. You know, you just see the composure that he has. Things are chaos around him, bodies flying everywhere. There was not much of a hole, but his patience and his ability to keep moving forward, shuffling back and forth, picking up 3 yards.
57 yards on the day. He gets stronger as the game goes on. He's not a big man, but he leads the NFL with yards in the 4th quarter. Numbers for Schaub on this drive, 5 of 6. Second and goal. Has to scramble. Throws it away, and there's a flag on the play.
Illegal downfield, maybe.
Some extracurricular activity near the goal line, pushing and shoving.
Well, it looked to me like Chester Pitts, who's got his helmet off down there, was down the field too far. I don't know if the referees called something before that took place or if that is the penalty.
Bill Carollo is our referee today. Asking for quiet. Taking a little extra time to talk it over. We know that Chester Pitts lost his helmet.
Yeah.
We don't know if the penalty has to do with that or not.
There was a lot of
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 69, offense.
They call it on Chester
15-yard
Pitts.
penalty. After the play was over, it'll be 3rd down, then walk off the penalty.
So basically, this is a loss of down penalty. 3rd down and minus 15 yards. You're going to see Chester Pitts right here and Sands right over the nose right there. The two of them watch as the play develops. There are some definite extracurriculars. There goes Chester Pitts' helmet right there, and then he takes a swing at Turdell Sands. Then Turdell Sands comes back. Normally, it's the retaliator that gets nailed with the penalty, but right there, Chester Pitts, they saw that full swing. Even though Turdell Sands probably did a little bit extra getting that helmet off, the big swing came from Chester Pitts, and he really cost his team right there. It's a whole different ball game when you're talking about 3rd and goal from the 22.
This has been as you can see in the graphic, a relatively penalty-free game. There have been only 3 calls. That's not normally the situation for the Raiders.
Very un-Raider-like, yes.
So 3rd and goal from the 22-yard line. Shot. And that is caught by Kevin Walter. No. Lost it on the way down.
Almost a spectacular catch by Kevin Walter. Tough, fearless, going up over the middle of the field. But a nice hit by Rashad Baker. Right as the ball got there, boom, from the front side, and also Chris Johnson coming in from the back.
So Chris Brown comes on for a 40-yard field goal try. Ten minutes remaining. He's 2 of 2 so far today. And good. So the Texans able to cut into the Oakland lead, 27-16, 9:55 left to play. The red zone woes continue for the Houston Texans, only able to come away with 3 points.
That has been a glaring weakness for an offense so high-powered coming into the day. Not very highly rated at all. Bottom 10 in the NFL. Only 46% conversion of touchdowns. So an area really to focus on during the offseason for Gary Kubiak.
Miller from the 6. Trying to get it to the outside. And brought down at the 27-yard line. Raiders back to work when we return. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway post-game show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores, highlights, the playoff picture. It's all coming up on the Subway post-game show. 1st and 10 for the Raiders, who look to take some time off the clock here. The ball is down on the ground. The Texans have it. And I was just about to say, we expected to see him run the football to take some time off the clock. And they turn it over.
And Bill, that's exactly what they should have been doing. That was a nice, safe bootleg action, play action call. You would think they'd come out running the ball, but JaMarcus Russell surprised up the field by Amobi Okoye. But, geez, he's got to protect that football. Somehow that ball cannot come out. And then Okoye does a great job of pulling JaMarcus Russell away from the play to allow his teammates to come in and get that football. What a huge play for the Texans.
Kevin Bentley recovered it for Houston.
Andre Johnson right here.
From the 14-yard line. Slayton gets the corner. And down close to the 5-yard line. And again, let's go to New York and check in with JB for an update.
Hey, Bill and Steve, trailing 16-13 to Buffalo. Jake Cutler and the Broncos go back on top. Cutler with that 6-yard TD run, capping a 9-play, 84-yard drive, up by 4. But Buffalo deep in red zone territory now. We'll keep you updated. Bill and Steve.
All right, JB, thank you very much. The Broncos win. They win the AFC West.
Well, who would have thought it would get this close for the Broncos?
2nd and 1. Slayton has a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal.
I don't know if he actually got it, Bill. He had to get to the 4-yard line.
Depends on his forward progress. He lost his helmet. That was a problem last week. He lost his helmet at least a half dozen times.
He did, that's right. It looks like they spotted it short. He's got about a
little less than a yard.
Yeah, little less than a yard. This has been a problem, though. The Raiders have stood up to the Texans here a few times today on 3rd and short.
3 of 11 on 3rd down conversions.
Well, look at the matchup at the bottom. Andre Johnson one-on-one.
Incomplete. Walter was the intended receiver. That was a nice break on the ball by Chris Johnson.
Well, Gary Kubiak here, you almost have to go for it here. They're down 11 points.
4th and 1 from the 5.
But you know what? If you kick the field goal, there's Tom Cable's reaction. You got it within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion if you kick the field goal, but I'm not surprised at all. Gary Kubiak, again, very aggressive, very confident in his team. They're going to try and get to 7 right here.
Well, they need about a yard for a 1st down.
Timeout.
And the Texans are going to take a timeout. Could be the ball game right here. Gary Kubiak deciding to go for it, apparently.
Well, it's a gut call, Bill. You can make a case for it either way. It's 4th down and inches. You want the touchdown. A field goal makes it a 1-possession game, but looks like they're going to go for it.
They're going to go for the touchdown. Incomplete. Walter was the intended receiver, and the Raiders have held.
That was fantastic defense by the Oakland Raiders.
It will go over on downs. The Raiders take over from their own 5-yard line with just over 8 minutes left to play. This is the deep back. And they run it. Nice hole for Justin Fargas. Big hit at about the 14-yard line again by Ferguson. And what about the decision, Steve, to throw it on 4th and inches?
Well, I was convinced the Raiders were going to run the football. You're going to see right here is Kevin Walter. Andre Johnson just kind of runs inside and back to the corner. They're the only 2 guys out on the play. I understand what Gary Kubiak was doing, play action, thinking the Raiders were going to play hard run defense, but the Raiders played very, very disciplined, smart football. I love the aggressiveness by Gary Kubiak. I would have liked to see him just try and put on his O-line and run that football up inside, though.
Also, the decision is McFadden gets it not to try the field goal, which if you're able to convert that, you're only 8 down.
That's the other argument. You know, if you kick the field goal there, it's a 1-possession ball game.
First down for Oakland.
You just needed points on that drive, period. You needed to get either a touchdown or a field goal. Man, the defense has got to step up and do their part. They gave up a first down already. They have the Raiders backed up inside the 5-yard line, but now they've got a little more breathing room to work with.
McFadden stays in the game, lone back. They give it to him. Lowers his shoulder, tries to power his way out to the 19-yard line. Tonight on CBS, don't take off for the holidays without seeing 60 Minutes on the state of airport security. Plus Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger in the hot seat. That'll be followed by $1 Million Password and new episodes of Cold Case and The Unit. That's all tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. 2nd and 7 for Oakland. Clock running.
Well, I don't think you'll see much out of Tom Cable and his offense right now, except Justin Fargas, Darren McFadden left and right, trying to eat up that clock.
McFadden the deep back. Give it to the rookie. Brought down from behind. Gets it across the 20, close to the 22-yard line. Inside of 6 minutes remaining.
You cannot say enough about the performance the Raiders have had today to this point. They've really done everything they need to do to win the ball game. They've controlled physically this ball game pretty much from start to finish to this point.
And this was a team really without a lot to play for. 3 and 11 coming in.
Big 3rd down conversion right here.
Really have stepped it up today. 3rd and 5. McFadden. And he'll be stopped short of the 25-yard line and short of a first down.
A great pursuit and effort out of Jeff Zganina. Defensive tackle coming across. You see he's playing off the nose guard, off the center, coming across right there, sweeping across the field and making the tackle to hold Darren McFadden short of the first down.
Zganina's 38 years old, and it's the 16th year in the league out of Purdue, and that was a nice play.
Former teammate of mine many moons ago.
See if Jacoby Jones can break one, standing at his own 25-yard line.
Returnable punt.
Yeah, short kick, Leckler. Jones with some running room. Takes it up the right sideline, and good field position as the Texans are trying to stay alive. A 37-yard punt. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS puts on a season-ending doubleheader with a focus on the playoff picture. Games and times are subject to change. Plus, get up to speed on all the latest playoff scenarios and news with JB, Dan, Coach Shannon, and Boomer on the always entertaining NFL Today.
It's going to be interesting to see. Look at the scores here. Seattle, boy.
Mike Holmgren's last home game. And Jets 0-3 and trips out west this year. That was a trap game waiting to happen. Schaub intercepted. Chris Johnson with the pick. And it has been a frustrating afternoon for Matt Schaub.
Yep, you keep saying, and I kept bringing it up here too, you got to find a way to get the ball to Andre Johnson right there. Great coverage. It was too deep zone, man-to-man coverage underneath. Chris Johnson, only responsibility there was to not let Andre Johnson beat him inside. Matt Schaub tried to force it in there. Should have seen that inside positioning by Chris Johnson and not thrown that football. Easy for me to say up here, but not a good decision by Matt Schaub at that point.
Third interception of the season for Chris Johnson, who again took over at cornerback and has done a nice job since D'Angelo Hall was released. From their own 40-yard line, Fargas dives forward out across the 45. Just over 4 minutes remaining. Raiders leading 27-16, and the Texans are going to take a timeout. The Texans haven't lost since November 16th when they dropped a heartbreaker to the Colts 33-27. Since their 0-4 start, the Texans have won 4 straight, 7 of 10. You can make a case not many teams are playing much better than the Houston Texans, but the Raiders have given them all they could handle and more today.
Well, as big as that win last week was for Houston over Tennessee, this is that big of a loss if they can't find a way to come back and win this ball game.
2nd and 5 from the 45, Fargas. And
ball's out.
Fumbles the ball. It looks like the Raiders were able to fall on it. Cooper Carlisle was there to recover the fumble.
Well, you'll see that ball was a good hit coming across, jarring that ball. No doubt the ball knocked out of there, but Cooper Carlisle heads up, jumps on that football.
Texans will take another timeout. Right at 4 minutes left. 27-16 Raiders. Gary Kubiak and the Texans came in today hoping for the first winning season in franchise history, trying to win out and finish at 9-7. A look at the Kubiak attack.
Well, every single one of these stats here, improvement on what they had before he became the head coach. This is a team definitely heading in the right direction. At 0-4 early in the season, tough first 4 weeks of the season. A lot of people had written them off. But they've hung together and put together what a lot of people consider to be a chance to end up with their first winning season ever in week 16. But the Raiders have had something to say about it today.
That's what Gary Kubiak told us. He said, that division is not going to get any easier. Fargas. Terrific run down to the 41-yard line.
And that right there is a dagger to the Houston Texans. Justin Fargas, you see the intensity in his eyes. What a great, strong run, ripping through tackles, picking up a first down. Houston spent all their timeouts in hopes of forcing a punt from the Oakland Raiders, but Justin Fargas converting that first down. Oakland now has a good opportunity to run off a lot of time on that clock.
That was good for 13 yards. 85 yards on the afternoon for Justin Fargas in his 6th year out of USC. McFadden this time flies down to the 37-yard line.
And no way at all for Houston to stop the clock now.
Now, Gary Kubiak knew that the Raiders, despite their record, were potentially a very dangerous opponent.
Well, this is a Raider team that really needed this win as well. I mean, there's been a lot of negativity flowing around this organization for a long time, and a lot of people, I think, expected him to fold up shop today. But give credit to Tom Cable. He got these guys ready to play today. They've looked very, very strong.
McFadden. Mario Williams made the stop. We have not called his name very often today. They've done a good job on Mario Williams, who was voted to the Pro Bowl for the first time.
And we just saw a picture of Tom Cable, Bill, and one of the things he told us in his meeting the other day was that he did not realize how tough it was going to be to change the culture of this organization.
That will take us down to the 2-minute warning. Raiders with the ball and in control, 27-16. We're back. Look at those uniforms. That's a team that's played a tough physical football game today. Raiders are going to end a couple of streaks. They'll snap a 3-game losing streak this season and a 3-game losing streak to the Houston Texans. This will be the first time they've beaten the Texans if they hang on to win. 3rd and 6. Fargas stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And looky here.
How about Buffalo coming to life?
Wow.
In Denver.
Well, if Buffalo wins that game, the unthinkable is going to happen. Denver, San Diego next week in San Diego for the AFC West title. And then the Jets game just went final. That means now that the only way, well, it's Miami's in control. If the Jets beat Miami next week and New England wins, New England will then go into the playoffs as the winner of the AFC East.
Like the Raiders, the Seahawks came in 3-11. That's a nice parting gift for Mike Holmgren.
No doubt about it.
Emotional win. Final game at home.
But Miami and the Jets play next week in the Meadowlands. If Miami wins, they win the division. If they lose and New England wins, then New England wins the AFC East. The Jets now are out. They lose the tiebreaker to Miami. So the Brett Favre story for this year is over. Questions now will be about whether he's going to come back again next year.
Minute 11 remaining. The ball goes over to the Texans. They'll take over their own 36-yard line. See if Matt Schaub can salvage something. Pump fake under pressure. Incomplete. Threw it behind Jacoby Jones.
So we see Tennessee has clinched the home, not only the bye, but the home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. Miami in control, Pittsburgh automatically in, Indianapolis already in. It's going to come down to now what kind of combination with New England, Miami, Baltimore.
How about the Ravens last night against the Cowboys in the finale at Texas Stadium?
2 big runs late to ice the game.
Schaub again behind the receiver. Owen Daniels. 3rd and 10.
I'm impressed with this Raiders defense. They've been able to generate a lot of pressure. Matt Schaub, very, very frustrated. Has not looked comfortable back there since the first drive. They looked very, very sharp the first drive coming out when they went down to score a touchdown. Give Rob Ryan credit. His defense and his defensive coordinator role been questioned significantly this whole year. They've answered the bell today.
They came in ranked 27th in total defense. Schaub to Slayton. And brought down at the 39-yard line. Michael Huff made the stop finally. So that'll bring up 4th down, and of course they'll go for it.
Yeah.
4th and 7.
Andre Johnson not even on the field.
Schaub. That time he's able to connect with Daniels. The first down into Raider territory. Clock continues to run. 25 seconds remaining. 27-16 Raiders. On the verge of going to 4-11. The Texans will drop to 7-8.
Frustrating day. Gary Kubiak, you can sense what's going on in his head. Andre Johnson, long, tough day. The Raiders had a great game plan, executed very, very, very efficiently to keep him out of the ball game. Not a factor in any way, shape, or form.
They took him out of the game, and they took Kevin Walter out of the game. Sacked.
And they try to take Matt Schaub out of the game right there.
Derek Burgess. And that will be it. Terrific showing by these Oakland Raiders. Texans thought they had turned the corner with the win last week, but they took a step back today. 27-16 the final. Tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, $1 Million Password, Cold Case, and the Unit for Steve Beuerlein. This is Bill Macatee saying so long from Oakland.